course, spring football is coming quickly. And so we're going to dive through every position with Jason. We're going to start at quarterback. And, of course, the guy that everyone's talking about, everybody's looking at, the guy that's got now the offensive burden on his shoulders. And that's, of course, Cade Klubnik. I think that not just Clemson fans, Jason, but most people across the nation just think that this is a slam dunk, substantial upgrade. DJ Uiagalelei just didn't get the job done, wasn't good enough. Now you got Cade Klubnik as a 5-star, and now we're back to the Trevor Lawrence, Deshaun Watson days, but it may not be quite that easy and that simple. He showed that, you know, he's got a lot of learning to do and a lot of progression in front of him.
Yeah, you know, anybody that watched the Orange Bowl, I mean, we saw he had some freshman moments in that game. Make no mistake, you know, he still has some learning to do. He still has some growing to do as a quarterback. I think he would be the first one to tell you that. That's what spring practice is for. That's what fall camp's for. It's hard to replicate live game action in practice, but, you know, the more reps he takes, the better he'll be. And then you got the spring football game and all, you know, a couple of scrimmages in the fall. But, you know, I fully expect Klubnik to take a big step and look like a much different quarterback come September than what we saw in the Orange Bowl. This kid just has all the tools. He's got the mental makeup. He is a winner. And then you add in the new offense with Garrett Riley, which I think was a slam dunk hire with the way this roster is made out, and Klubnik at quarterback. I think Riley has proven in his 3 years as an offensive coordinator that he knows how to get the best out of his quarterbacks. He knows how to scheme up something for his players to be successful. And that's exactly what I expect with Clemson this year. You know, to the layman, it might look a lot similar, you know, formations and stuff like that. But, you know, there's going to be a lot of differences if you dive deep down into it. And I think it's going to benefit Klubnik in a big way.
And now, Jason, when we look at the backup position, we've got a guy that just stepped on campus this winter in Vizina, and then we've got a veteran who hasn't necessarily played a lot, but he's got more experience, on campus, just running, a college offense and being around the locker room for a long time. So how do you size up the backup quarterback situation?
You know, this is very similar to the situation last year. You bring in Hunter Johnson to be that veteran presence in the locker room, and I think that's what they've done with Paul Tyson here. Very similar circumstances. The only difference being DJ Uiagalelei was going into his junior season, and Klubnik's going into his sophomore season. So your other two quarterbacks now are a sophomore and a true freshman instead of a junior and a true freshman. Really, that's the only difference. But I think it's pretty widely assumed Vizina's going to come in and probably be the backup. Make no mistake. You need to get him all the reps he can get. He needs to be as ready as he can be. Fully expect him to be the backup throughout the spring, get all the backup reps going into fall camp. My only question would be, if you get in early in the season and something happens and you need something from your backup quarterback, how ready will Vizina be? Will he be ready to take over that early in his career, or would you have to turn to the veteran guy, Paul Tyson? To me, that would be the only question, and that's barring something you hope doesn't happen, because you absolutely hope Klubnik starts every game and you don't have to worry about going to your backup. But I fully expect Vizina to be the backup and Tyson to be that kind of emergency guy.
So yeah, Christopher Vizina is a top 10 quarterback, top 100 player. He's the guy that everybody's excited about because he's the next guy in line. Now, Paul Tyson obviously came nowhere close to starting at Alabama, but still was a top 300 player and a top 12 quarterback. So I got to think he hasn't entirely given up on being a starting quarterback at a big-time program.
No, I mean, I think he made a couple of starts at Arizona State, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. But outside of that, he hasn't seen the field a ton. I think he knows what his role is coming into Clemson, though, and I think he was okay with it. He knows he's not going to be starting, barring something unforeseen. I think he's okay being that veteran guy that the young guys might need to lean on at times throughout the spring, throughout the fall, and into the season. That was, Clemson. One thing about the coaching staff at Clemson, they're pretty transparent. They'll be straight with you. They'll tell you where everything stands, where they see you fitting in. They don't, sugarcoat things just to try to get you on board. That's one of the things that these recruits that I talk to, a lot of them just rave about. They love how the staff is just so upfront, so truthful, so transparent. So I figure Tyson is pretty okay with his role coming in and knowing he's going to be the backup. And again, barring something unforeseen, that'll be his role.
So I kind of retract what I said earlier, because it seems similar to a situation we see this year at Ohio State. They're getting an Oregon State transfer. So Trenton Bourquet, that might not be familiar with a lot of people, he was the starting quarterback after Emory Jones, transfer from Florida, was the starting quarterback at Arizona State this past year. And Paul Tyson just flat out didn't play. So maybe he has arrived at a place in his career where he's looking to be a coach and wants to prepare himself to be a coach, and figures, hey, I'm in a top flight program, and hey, if I get to play, that's icing on the cake, but I'm going to prepare myself for my next career.
I think that is a part of why Hunter Johnson came back to Clemson last year, and I absolutely think that is a part of why Paul Tyson came.